This is going to be our how to use the sewing machine and safety video. So your sewing machine should already be threaded. I like to take my threads and push them all the way to the right side. That way when I slide my fabric in, my threads, I know exactly where they're at. Next, we're going to put our presser foot lever down. This is very important because not everybody has a sewing machine that's going to beep at them if the lever's not down. So example, if my lever's up and I go to sew, my machine doesn't work, it just beeps. But as soon as I put my lever down, then it's going to sew. Very, very important. Put the lever down, guys. Next, we're going to be ready to sew. We want to maybe check to see where our speed control is at. If you have a machine that has the speed control, I would still recommend that you keep it between the 1 and 2. I cannot be there. You could sew at teacher speed, but I would recommend to keep it around the 2. If you do not have a speed control, it's all in the pressure that you put on your pedal. So if I lightly press my pedal, I'm gonna go pretty slow. But if I press my pedal harder, it goes faster. Once we are at a point where we need to turn, we're gonna first make sure our needle's down. Some machines end all the way always in the down position. Other times we're gonna need to take our hand wheel and rotate it, always rotate it toward you until your needle is in the fabric. Once your needle's in the fabric, we can lift up the presser foot, pivot our fabric, put our presser foot back down, and continue to sew. Again, we make sure our needle's down, we lift up our presser foot, we pivot our fabric so it's back in front, lower the presser foot, and it's down. Okay, so when we've come to the end, we're gonna make sure we put in our back stitch. And we'll talk about the back stitch again in class, but once our seam is secure, we can raise our presser foot. Then we need to raise our needle. We can do that by either pressing the button to raise the needle if you have it. If you do not have that, you're going to need to use your hand wheel. We need to make sure that not only is our needle all the way out of the fabric, but that our looper up here has reached all the way to the top. Then we can pull our fabric through. Now sometimes when we do this, we'll have multiple layers of thread here. Do you see I have 4? That just means that my needle didn't go all the way around. So I'm just gonna turn my hand wheel slightly until it releases and I only have 2. Then I can cut them free and reposition my threads so I'm ready to go again. So after we've sewn something, if you feel that you've made a mistake, now this is something that we don't want you to use a lot of, but I want you to know how to use it properly, and it's called the seam ripper. The seam ripper can maybe look like this, or maybe it's smaller like that. We just uncap it and we use this part as our handle, so it's a bit longer. What you want to do is you want to carefully slide the tip of the seam ripper underneath one stitch and then just push the seam ripper through that stitch and it will break that stitch for you. Then sometimes you can just pick those stitches up. You don't always have to rip through every single stitch. And we're just gonna use the tip of the seam ripper to safely undo some of these stitches.